Hello, welcome to Beat Burnout, this interview series. I am your host, Taniya Hussein, and this is for you if you are a social worker or a healthcare professional, or just even someone who just feels overwhelmed with all that you have to do. And I am really loving this interview series. I'm loving actually doing it, working on it. It's something that is really something I passionately believe to the importance of beating burnout. And really together, we're actually going to look at how we can really beat burnout and look at the strategies that we can use to actually recognize that we are feeling overwhelmed, how we can slow down, how we can look after ourselves better. And I've got together top experts, coaches from different fields of business, healing, spirituality, to share with you their own stories of how they beat burnout, and also tips and strategies that you can use to maintain a life of balance, joy, and rediscover that passion and purpose in your life. And like I said, I've brought coaches and top experts from different fields, and today's field that I've brought it from is actually the field of business. And today I have Marina all the way across the pond in the US. Where are you again, Marina?
In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're about 2 hours south of New York City, which might be a more well-known reference point for people around the world.
Okay, Marina, let me just tell you about her, is a globally recognized woman business coach and workshop leader, serving the solo to mid-sized business owner. Her clients include CNN contributors, a New York Times best-selling author, award-winning tech startup, entrepreneur magazine, 40 Millionaires Under 40, notable health coaches, solo mompreneur startups, and to the heads of mature 8-figure brands. Her speaking venues include Google Campus in London, UK, Women's Entrepreneur Association in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the American University School of Business in Athens, Greece. She hosts Spark Magazine, that's how I know her, a live streaming interview series featuring people and trends of interest to today's female entrepreneur. She's a media consultant and an Emmy-nominated former news television producer, and her clients have appeared everywhere from local television to Oprah's Favorite Things. She's the founder of Stamos Media and senior coach of Marina Stamos Business Coaching based in Philadelphia. So welcome, Marina. Thank you for joining us on this Beat Burnout interview series.
Thank you for having me.
You have accomplished so much. So can you just tell me about your journey and how you got to be doing what you're doing?
I, many years ago, started out as a print journalist who had two very distinct ideas: that I would be a writer in some sort and I would finance my writing through entrepreneurship somehow. I didn't ever think that writing would be like a way to make money, but I also just had an entrepreneurial bug, and I always had. So somehow along the way, I found myself as a television news journalist, or a producer rather, really primarily producing and writing a live television news channel, and started to really understand something about how, what makes something newsworthy, but in particularly what makes something break through the noise. What is it that people pay attention to? And I saw a very clear link between what is it that makes someone newsworthy and what is it that makes them important in their business. And so what I say is that it's two sides of the same coin. Whatever it is that you are an expert at, how does that attach itself to something that a lot of people care about? So I found that I would be just instinctively telling different business owners that I would meet, or anybody, any kind of newsmaker, but often business owners, oh, I think I like what you're doing. I think if you talked about it in the public sphere with this particular angle, with this particular feeling, or led with this idea, I think you could get some news media, actually grow your business. And it was the funniest thing how I just passively was doing that. Like I was just going on instinct. And then it was working for clients, and also was helping me to land 4- and 5-figure clients. Right? And so I did that for many years. And I formally launched a media and PR company in service of businesses. I had a political candidate, I had other people, but particularly businesses. So at some point, about a couple of years ago, I decided I would love to have what I do be more affordable and more accessible. So I had done what I had done the same way for many years. I was like, I want something new, more affordable, more accessible. And how can I productize what I have learned so I can help people help themselves more? So that's where Marina Stamos coaching was born. Now, while I can say that at every point of my life, I have dealt with stress or burnout or potential for burnout, nothing gave me burnout the way for some reason, moving my business to an online coaching entity. What I did not know going into it was how many discrete systems I would have to learn. And I thought foolishly, maybe hard-headedly or stubbornly or naively or all of those things together, that I'm tech savvy. I made my own website. I'm this and that. No problem. And while yes, I could have figured it out, what I realized was that the process of trying to learn every little discrete thing on my own, or I did engage a coach. At some point I realized through lots of experience in my life that if you try to figure things out on your own, all I had to show for figuring things out on my own was lost money and lost time. I never succeeded doing things on my own. And I proved to myself many times over, I can't do things on my own. So I'd already learned that. So I had a coach, and I thought I was already like doing a good job of outsourcing appropriately. I thought, okay, and I had this conception that I have to learn how to do my own opt-in box, my own squeeze page. I don't even know why. As I look back and as I sit here now, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? But for whatever reason, I thought that was the price of admission, that you learn how to do that, okay? So everything was piling up, making my offer, making my freebie, making the funnel. I can't name it, every part of it, the Facebook ads, everything. At some point, what I realized was, my God, the days are turning into months and months where I'm not making any money. I'm getting stressed. In other words, I was not making money in my new endeavor. But, it's going to be a quick thing. And one other side note, I got a little bit of a false start, a false sense of security, which in a sense actually hurt me. I allowed it to bite me in the you-know-what, because when I first announced that I was going to start doing business coaching, I sent out an email, I put a post on Facebook, and I called some people, all my previous clients, and it was funny because I got clients within hours. And it was funny how one of them said, "Oh, so this means that, I'm going to have to pay a lot less to work with you?" I said, "Yeah, but now you have to do most of the work." So it was weird how that I inadvertently allowed that to make me think, this is going to be a piece of cake. I'm just going to slide right into creating an online business. So that really actually hurt me because I got comfortable in that. And I think it was like a big shock to my system. So anyway, back on track. So as I started to become very burnt out. I thought, my God, my to-do list went from being like 3 or 4 things long, which I had learned a long time ago to make them only like a couple of things long. Yeah. It'd be like 7 or 8 things long. And every day I would come to the end, not having completed most of them. And I thought, and I was making such incremental progress. And I thought, my God, this is going to be a waste. I'm trapped. I'm never going to be able to do anything else again. I'm too old. All my dreams are going to go. And then one morning in particular, I was having a moment like this, and I thought I had just figured out how to make the lead box or lead page. I even forget what it was. And then the next screen came up. Okay, now you have to make a lead box, the opt-in form, whatever it was, some next little tiny, and I don't know why that particular morning, the sum of all of the work, of all of the frustration, of all the failure, my heart broke, my stomach violently churned, like just turned. Suddenly I'm running to my bathroom. Sorry for being a little bit too much information, but I ran to my bathroom, threw up the toilet seat, thought, oh my God, this is it. And then went, nothing came up, but I literally collapsed. I went right down onto my knees and then flat down on the floor of my bathroom. And from business over, from burnout. And it wasn't drugs or alcohol. It wasn't even like a food coma, which I will say in public, yes, I do have some issues. I do stress eat, but no, it was business overwhelm, flat, but heartbroken, burned out. And my God, I have to do something different. So that was a very long way of saying that as much as I thought I had it, I didn't have it. And I realized I had to really look. I had to do what I tell my clients to do all the time. For some reason, I was blind, wasn't even following my own advice.
And that's something that I'm really glad you said that, Marina, because social workers and healthcare professionals, and I've said this before, people are going to say this again, people could be tired of hearing me, those who listen to the other interviews, that because we are the help, we sometimes don't show our vulnerabilities like you are right now. The fact that you had coached all these very successful people, you'd got them to a certain place, but yet you were struggling. That you just said something, you had to walk the walk that you were talking to them. You couldn't just say, oh, do this and not do it yourself.
You're absolutely right. And I didn't even realize how many layers of, what's the word? I wouldn't even say disbelief, because I didn't even know it consciously that I was doing it to even disbelieve it. I don't know. I was just, I had gotten in a rut.
You were just on the survival mode. Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of like saying you were surviving. You weren't even living. You weren't even thriving.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a model about some of us just survive our whole lives. We don't know what it is to live, to experience the joy of living.
Yes, absolutely. And lying face down on my bathroom floor was definitely not living. I joke that I was an overwhelmed junkie, and literally a junkie, that image of the junkie on the floor of the bathroom. But I was there for a very different reason. So anyway, I thought, my goodness, I just had to get serious with myself and say, this is not working. And then any resistance, I found that it helped me to write down, again, 101. This is life coaching, business coaching 101. Write down what you have to do, what you want to accomplish, and where you need to help. So one thing I love to do with my clients, and I do with myself, is make a list of all the things you do in a day. Which ones are revenue producing? Outsource all the rest. If you aren't even, and I had gotten to the point where I did it, I said, my God, in the last couple of months, other than things that were already in progress before I started, or let's say somebody who had re-upped with me from the past, I was not doing any true revenue generating activities. So I just realized I have got to put that mindset back on you have to invest in help, knowing fully well that you might go through several clunkers and lose money with those people who aren't a good fit. But there's nothing to be gained from just deciding, no, I'm going to do everything myself. There aren't enough hours in the day. There isn't enough energy. And that's not what I'm good at. I help people when I'm helping them figure out, I make money when I'm helping people understand what how to make money, basically. What is it that makes them valuable to their client, so that they can message appropriately, position themselves appropriately, so they attract clients. Everything else, or giving them strategies for media attention, this is where I help people, which is to say, this is where I make money. Everything else is a complete loss. Yeah. And it stresses me.
And you were probably doing, I'm going to say this now as an online coach, and there'll probably be some people that are watching that are thinking, maybe I want to leave social work, maybe I want to leave medicine and become an online coach. And
yes,
following some online coaches, and they're thinking, oh, I could do that. That looks so easy. And because I've got, a number of skills, but you felt you were in overwhelm because you were trying to do the podcast, the Facebook adverts, the email list building. You were trying to do it all. And now for those people that are social workers and healthcare professionals that are listening, we also try to do it all.
Yes.
We go into work, and as a social worker, I know this, I've got 6 clients to see. And I'm wanting to do 3 assessments. It's impossible. Nobody can do 3 assessments. One assessment can sometimes take 3 days. Yeah, one assessment, updating that assessment can take 3 days because it's analytical. It's not just sitting there and filling in boxes. But we give ourselves these impossible tasks, and then we feel that we're such failures because we gave ourselves such impossible tasks. They weren't realistic in the first place. If we say, let's just focus on seeing those 6 clients and then updating our case notes, yeah, and then having one day that we focus on 2 assessments and do them 50%.
Yes. Time management. And I was thinking about your client base, and your client base or social workers and and healthcare professionals,
yeah,
all have big hearts, and they want to, and they are also very talented on a lot of different levels. So it's almost like a curse that they have these big hearts and they want to help people, and they have all these talents that they know they can draw on. So they want to. It's just natural. Like they want to use them all, and that is a gift to the people they serve. But sometimes it plays out in them saying yes too often. That's one thing I would say is like people have to learn the power of no. And then also, if someone's finding themselves, so many people keep looking for that validation. I'm jumping around here, but I think because I've had social workers and healthcare professionals as clients. And on some level too, even though they grow to learn how to have a certain emotional detachment so they don't get sucked down into everything, I can't think of one person I have met in that field who on some level, if a client, they don't get a lot of validation from the people that they turn themselves inside out for. They don't get that thank you, or they get it occasionally, but we're humans. We want that. We need that. So then we're like pouring ourselves into these entities. Maybe we get something back, or maybe they turn on us.
And sometimes it's when you've been doing that, and here I'm talking to, there's a lot of you out there that have been doing that, not just for years, you've been doing that for decades.
Decades.
And you find yourself that you've done it for 20 years or 10 years or whatever, 30 years, and you find yourself wondering, what happened to my life? Where is my life going? And okay, I never went into this work for the gratitude, but you might feel like you're really good at your profession, but your other areas of your life have suffered. For instance, the creativity. You had all these creative dreams of becoming that writer or that actress or just singing, and you buried it. You buried it because by the time you get back from work, you are absolutely exhausted. Like Marina was saying, you've given all your energy, and some of our clients, they come from very traumatized, the whole life has been tragedy, so you give them all the energy, you've got such a big heart, and then you've got nothing left for yourself.
Right.
And when you don't have anything left for yourself, so I was just doing a Facebook Live the other day, how can you then give to others in your family? How can you give to God, if those who believe in God? If you're not giving to yourself, if you're not taking a break, even that 15 minutes break can be a way that you can recharge your batteries. It's like our laptops and our phones need recharging. We ourselves need recharging.
Yes, very good analogy.
Marina?
Yeah. I admit.
And that was like my kind of, you talked about that was your darkest moment, that you figured that you were burnout. What did you do? I know you touched upon it. What did you do when you discovered, when you were on that bathroom floor? What did you do?
I really realized that I was looking back over my life, and I thought, if I got here by doing X, I better get up with a plan to do Y and Z. I must challenge, no matter whatever resistance comes up around it, whatever I think, whatever negative feeling comes up, there are already, I've got to do something different. And most importantly, there's nothing that I was going through that millions of people haven't already gone through or are going through right now. And that the resources that I need, I invested in more coaching, and I invested in a secondary coach who had a strength in, she made funnels in her sleep. She just wrapped it up and then boom, I suddenly have this gorgeous funnel. And in the money that I made back,
Yeah.
I stopped counting after 10 times after I'd gotten my money back from my investment in her. And so I just had to say, whatever I think, whatever I believe I can't change, I have got to rethink it. And I have got to just know that other people have gone through this. Find other people who have gone through it. Get to where I want to go faster. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to say no to certain people or to certain things. And really just keep going. And also keep going back to my written statement of, this is what generates revenue, because that is always associated with the part that I love, which is the helping. You make money by helping people. I don't do this work just to make money. I can make money in real estate. I do make money in real estate, and other things, but I love this, but I just had to find a way to do it that didn't, just rethink, take stock, write it out, rethink, how can I invest, push aside any fear in people who've walk this path, and have faith that I can walk it too. Invest, knowing that I might not get my money back on. Some people might not be the right fit. Boop, fire them, move on to the next. And just say yes to myself. Yeah. That's kind of cliche, but really, that's all.
And you're talking as a business coach and as a media coach. And I'm going to actually say, sometimes it doesn't even have to be a lot of money that you invest in. It can just be time. Social workers and healthcare professionals, especially within the UK, within the National Health Service, you can actually get quite a lot of help for free. But it's about investing in that time for yourself to know that you are valuable, you are good enough. Without you, society probably wouldn't function as well as it
No, it wouldn't. Actually, can I ask a question? One thing I'm thinking back now, in particular on my clients who are like the people that you're talking about, the people that you serve, it's actually pretty common, but is that when you are in burnout mode and you're on a certain path and it's like you're in a routine, I've heard them say, I on some level know that I have to be open to bringing somebody else in, free or pay, right? To changing. But I don't have the time to even find that person or interview that person. And what if they don't work out? And what if and I totally understand where they're coming from. And I have in one way or another, I've had that feeling, and all my clients had that feeling in one way, one shape or another. But does that sound like it?
Yeah, it's been like, especially when you're in crisis mode. I get that. I've been in crisis mode. I've been in crisis mode myself. That you feel so overwhelmed with whatever personal crisis or professional crisis you're in the middle of. And it's really about how you get from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and that you're still like sane. So I completely get that. But if you do not invest in time for yourself, who else is going to do that? Your partner's not going to do that. Your parent's not going to do that. Your child's not going to do that.
No.
Not going to do that. The only person that can do that is you. They care about you, they love you, but who takes responsibility of yourself really at the end of the day is you. And yet I know from my own personal experience, when I haven't taken personal responsibility for myself, I tend to blame it on people that really care about me. I become irritable.
Well, of course, it's their fault. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my fault. It's A, B, and C, and D. And there's my husband because he's got on my nerves. It's my
yes,
because they don't listen to me and they leave the house, untidy and unclean. I got to constantly clean up by themselves. But rather than actually encouraging them to clean up by themselves, I'm taking it out.
Yeah.
Because I have been giving at work all day. And so when I come home, it's like, why isn't this place how it's supposed to be? Rather than saying, oh, how was your day?
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, and I know you've touched upon this, because I think it's really important. I just want to really bring that point to actually give yourself permission to ask for help. To actually give yourself permission that it's okay to even ask for help, let alone receive help.
Yep.
Because you, as a very successful woman, has realized that you can't do it on your own. And We social workers and healthcare professionals, whatever we're doing, whether we're doctors or psychologists, or we actually feel that we can do it on our own. That is just, isn't that crazy?
Yes, and I'm going to say as one last thought here, and I say it with love. It's also an ego thing. It's a control thing. I'm better than everybody else. No one can help me because I'm the smartest person in this room. Now, I know I maybe have taken us in a different direction, and not everybody feels that, but it does come up. I do notice this in the deep work that I do with people. There is a certain, when we can overcome the condescension or that kind of, thinking back to my days as a psychology student in college, it's like the whole thing is ego dystonic, right? They think, I can do this, that kind of lifestyle, that's not consistent with my view of myself. Or I don't even know, I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. But
no, you're doing a perfect job, because I know healthcare professionals, social workers, therapists, counselors, that, you know, it sounds really crazy. Some of you probably thinking, my God, really? Do they? And I do know of them, that they're dealing with all, like, the world on their shoulders, literally. And yet, okay, they might have clinical supervision, right? Some of them even don't even have clinical supervision, yet they're not having their time to process or spill their guts, whatever you want to call it, have that space to talk about how they feel, how they think, whether that's therapy, whether that's, it doesn't even have to be therapy, whether that's just taking some time out to be with a friend.
Yes, venting, just venting. Be with your friends. Even just the act of being with your friends is helpful. We are humans. We need that social contact. We need connection.
They've isolated themselves into this professional persona that they've got to be competent. So they're wearing this mask that they've got this professional persona, yet inside they are actually crumbling, they're crying, they're angry, they're like Two-Face.
Yes, the marriages are falling apart, children are being overlooked, guilt is piling up about it. Mommy, why are you on your phone? Mommy, why aren't you paying attention? I just hit the, did you see me hit the home run? No, honey, I was on the phone.
Ah! And that's what I'm going to ask you, and I think this is something that people can take away, is what were the signs and symptoms that you recognize? I know you talked about like the landing page, and then that the crisis point was you being on the bathroom floor. But did you ever, or have you got better in noticing signs and symptoms that you might be going on the way to overwhelm? Maybe not burnout, or you're on the way to being stressed, or
yes.
What top 3 signs and symptoms do you have in yourself that then people can take that away?
I would say the biggest one starts with a series of thoughts that then precipitate the feelings. So the thoughts are, this is horrible right now, but I know that in time, shortly, I'm going to wake up, and that place that I know I want to be in is just, I'm going to be there magically. If I just keep working, or if I work harder and harder, maybe I'm not there because I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I shouldn't even take that 2 minutes to be with my child and be present. I'm starting to question everything about and resenting everything. So then these are the thoughts that kind of start, and then it swirls down into kind of this, oh my God, I'm trapped. I feel trapped. I cannot seem to get out of this rut. What is wrong with me? I might as well, I remember even having this thought like, oh my God, is this it? Is this my life? Like just having these terrible thoughts. At one point I was like, oh boy, I hope that bus hits me so my husband and family can collect the life insurance, because I'm just going to fail. So it started off with really serious catastrophic thoughts about catastrophic. That's not really catastrophic, but just like hopelessness. And feeling trapped and feeling, oh, tomorrow is going to come. I just have to work harder. What I needed to do was work smarter, but I thought, I got to work harder and harder and harder, and burn out. And I would say, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Oh, I'll do this later. I'll do that. And then it turned into just a very then I was trapped in this like little world where I was like obsessing over the opt-in box or whatever it was, that the thing du jour, whatever system I thought. Yeah. And then what should have taken me like a couple of hours of my own time and then 10 hours of an engagement with an actual professional turned into weeks and weeks of no progress. So I would say there's some things we need positive reinforcement periodically. We need that little win. And if I kept going back to what was harming me, I'm like, what is wrong? What am I? It was just irrational. So I thought, what? I'm not actually making any progress that I can measure. I feel terrible. I'm waiting for something that's never coming. I haven't checked in with myself on like in a written kind of plan. I don't know. And then it all led up to me being poised for one. It was like that one last moment of disappointment, and then down.
Checking in with yourself is so important. Celebrating those wins that we have. I know somebody was saying, Deborah Howard, she often says, there's that things to do list, things to do. Why don't we have a DONE list? Things we've done throughout the day.
That's a great one. I like that.
So we then feel like we've accomplished something. And I would say that to all you social workers and healthcare professionals, all the things you actually did, maybe you do that at the end of the day.
That's a great one. That would be a beautifully long list. And then they could take real joy and realize, my goodness, look at the impact I've made.
Rather than emailing. Yeah, and this is something I do. I always email my things to do. Lately, I've started doing, these are all the things I actually did. These are things, and it makes me feel really good that I've actually accomplished something. And I think I could speak to you for another hour or 2 hours, and I'm really conscious that 30 minutes are up, Marina. I really learned so much from you. That the fact that we can ask for help, the fact that independent, successful people can also be interdependent. You're teaching people to be not dependent on you, but interdependent, asking for help, teaming up with people. Isn't that what life's about? Whether that's in social work or healthcare or businesses, teaming up with people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No one succeeds in a vacuum. I don't know that person.
Interdependence, like when nobody's an island. Thank you. And I've learned so much from you, Marina. Thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure. I love your done list. That was my big takeaway.
Thank you. Bye. See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.
See ya.